Welcome back to Campus Tailgate Podcast. My name is Jake. I am here with Kyle, and you are watching the College Sports Podcast. Today, we are going to be probably a little bit overreacting to what happened with Florida State and LSU on Sunday night. I think everybody at this point, saw what happened. LSU got trounced. So you know what? Fire up them grills, crack open a beer, and let's talk about how Florida State ran through the Tigers defense.
So,
All right, Kyle. I'm gonna let you go
Jake,
first.
So, I'm painting the
Fuck the
picture
Knolls,
for you
bro.
guys.
Fuck the Knolls, bro.
Painting the picture. Jake and I we're chatting about Sunday's games, and we agreed on 2 out of the 3. We both the one we just couldn't agree on was this FSU LSU game, and I, for one, am glad that I disagreed with the football protege over here.
Yeah, fuck you, bro.
FSU absolutely destroyed the Tigers. It was amazing. Although I will say the first half did not look like it.
Dude, it did not look good.
It was
No, well, that's what had me concerned at halftime, is that objectively LSU had outplayed Florida State at that point, and Florida State was only down by 3. I was worried. I was real worried.
FSU wasn't looking. They were looking okay. Like they were.
No, your boy
decent.
Jordan Travis should have had 3
He
picks
looked
at
amazing.
half. He should have had 3 picks at half. He had an ass first half.
He looked. He looked
rebounded
so much better.
He looked so good in the second half, but
my boy,
man, dude.
I love Jordan Travis. He looked so good yesterday in the second half.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked
First
good.
half was.
He should have had 3 picks by the end of the first half, dude. That play at the goal line where LSU had him on third down, he just tossed it up like a fucking
Idiot.
alley-oop into the middle of the defense. I was so mad. I was like, you got to come down with that. I forget who the LSU linebacker was that got his hand on it. You got to come down with that. But either way, no, honestly, my reaction from this game is I'm going to take a look at the stats here.
Jaden Daniels looked pretty good for LSU too.
Jaden Daniels looked great. His stats don't necessarily show it. He had I think Jordan Travis wide receivers had a little bit of the dropsies too. I don't think it's just one-sided. Jaden Daniels,
especially in the first half.
Jaden Daniels was all of LSU's offense. Brian Kelly probably should have emphasized the run more. Outside of Jaden Daniels, there were a total of 12 touches given to 3 other running backs. Trey Bradford, Noah Kane, and Josh Williams had 12 carries total. That's it, 12 carries. Jaden Daniels, on the other hand, had 15 carries and 37 pass attempts, meaning he was either sacked or ran on 15 plays, but also had 37 pass attempts. Honestly, that's just not a distribution that you should go for. That's not how they played last year. Malik Neighbors only had 6 catches. You think a 1,000-yard receiver from last year probably shows up a little bit more in this game. Number 8 for Florida State. They said his name. It was 8 versus 8 last night with Malik Neighbors in the corner from Florida State. Corner from Florida State did a very, very good job shutting him down. I am blanking on his name at the moment, so please excuse me. But Renardo Green. It's Renardo Green. Yeah. He was the one with the interception last night. Thank you. But honestly, man, my takeaway from this is that Florida State was simply more physical than LSU was. Like, you saw it from the first drive of the game where LSU got down to the 1-yard line. Florida State, goal line stop, penalty on third down. LSU's now at the 2, another goal line stop. 2, straight off the gate. Jaden Daniels gets sacked on 4th down. Florida State gets the ball back, goes down and scores immediately. LSU answers. This game was 17-14 at halftime, and then Florida State just said, this is our fucking football game. I'm not sorry. Travis,
Florida State said, nah, I'm not toying with you guys anymore. Fuck off.
Oh, the Seminoles said, I'm killing this tiger. Let me go home. But Jordan Travis looked good in the second half. My takeaway is that if Jordan Travis plays like that, not the way he played in the first half. Jordan Travis, the way he plays for the first half, that shit needs to go. His pick was atrocious. I don't know if you saw it, because I know that you were out with Riley last night on the boat, but like...
I did not see that part, but...
It was a screenplay, and Jordan Travis didn't have it immediately. Edge did a very good job just playing like a wide contain so that he couldn't throw the ball into the passing lane. So he pump fake, got the defensive end to jump, but the rush is coming, so he had to avoid a rusher, and then he just threw it towards the corner. Like, the corner is in front of his receiver, and he just throws it at the corner. And I can't say anything because Jaden Daniels' pick, people are going to say that was the same thing. That's not necessarily true. The ball came out a little late. Malik Neighbors slipped, and Ronaldo Green didn't. That's what happened on that play. For those of you who might be not as nuanced at watching football. And yes, I am very cocky about it. But no, honestly, Trey Benson looked real good. I know that he averaged under 4 yards a carry. Jordan Travis running the ball looked really good, 7 for 38 and a TD. Rodney Hill looked really good for 5 for 30. They had so many people run the ball last night. It's not even funny. They had 6 different rushers, and 4 of them had over 5 attempts, and none of them had more than 12. So they've got the committee backfield going in Florida State, which I really like in college football. Keeping your guys fresh is always important, to be quite honest with you, especially as a running back. And Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson did exactly what they were supposed to do last night. Jaheim Bell was a little underwhelming, but he did have 2 catches for 50 yards and a TD. Keon Coleman, 9 for 122 and 3 touchdowns. That's fucking ridiculous. And then Johnny Wilson, 7 for 104. I know Wilson was the one who was having the dropsies last night, had a case of the dropsies, but that's okay. Well, you make up for it when you go for 7 for 104.
Yeah, in case the dropsies seem to be going around for especially in the first half.
Yeah, especially in the first half.
They made up for it big time, so it's okay.
Listen, no, but again, I think it comes down to I said this yesterday when we were talking about Colorado versus TCU and like the transfer portal, and there are plenty of games from week 1 that we can emphasize this, but no bigger than those two. The transfer portal has changed college football. Last year, LSU is probably winning this game if this is last year's Florida State team with old transfer portal rules where you can't get your transfers. Like,
right.
Both starting wide receivers, I'm pretty sure Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson are transfers from last year, or it's Keon Coleman who stayed and Jaheim Bell is the one who was a transfer. At least 2 of their star 3 wide receivers are... Sorry,
Coleman,
go ahead.
I think Coleman was there last year.
Okay, Coleman was there. 2 of their other 3 starting receivers are transfer portal guys. You also had... I don't know. They've just done.
Oh no, he was a transfer last year. You're right.
Thank you. I was like, thank you.
You are right. He was at Michigan State last year.
Yeah, the transfer portal has done wonders for college football. You can change your team immediately, and if you are looking to strike for a national title, the transfer portal is one of the it's changed the landscape. I love the transfer portal. Colorado had more than anybody. They won their first game. Texas State is another huge example of this where they had, I think, the 3rd most transfers in the entire country, and they beat Baylor yesterday, who everybody thought was a sleeper in the Big 12. They are no longer a sleeper in the Big 12. You just got your ass kicked by Texas State. I'm not sorry. Sorry, Kyle. Your Big 12 sleeper team is not. ain't it?
I may have read into that one a little. Just a little too rough there.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with you. I agreed with you. I thought Baylor was going to be really good. So
they can rebound. I'm not worried.
Listen, I mean, the tail of the tape is the second half too. Florida State outscored LSU 31-7 in the second half last night. Like, Jordan Travis started the second half. I think he was like, at the very least, he started 5 of 5 with a TD, but I think he started like 10 of 11 with 2 or 3 touchdowns. He came out of the half and was like, okay, shaky first half, whatever. The LSU offensive line looked overpowered. The defensive line of Florida State looked great. Jared Verse looked great. They kept switching it last night. One was saying Verse, one was saying Verse, so I don't know which one it is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna say Verse because that's just how I've always said it. And honestly,
it's a cooler way to pronounce it anyway.
But like, and I don't even think he had a sack last night. Like, I don't think... Yeah,
no,
he didn't have a sack. But, no, that's the thing, though, is he applied pressure, and that is a bigger thing than just getting sacks. Like, a lot of people don't understand that quarterback pressures are a better indicator of... That and pass rush win rate are, like, the 2 best indicators of how good you are as a pass rusher. And Jared Verse was in Jaden Daniels' face a lot last night. He may not have gotten all the sacks. He may have not gotten, like, the highlight plays. But he affected Jaden Daniels enough where... he looked great. The Florida State defensive line in their entirety looked great. Obviously, LSU couldn't really run the ball. Their offensive line looked ridiculous, especially in the second half when they just decided that they were going to overpower an SEC defense. That doesn't happen. Like I hate to be like this, guys, but that like a top tier SEC defense just doesn't get overpowered by chance. Like you have to specifically make sure your team is built for that. And honestly, I'm higher on Florida State now than I was a week ago. Obviously, because I thought they were a little too high. You could put them in the top 4 right now. I don't give a fuck. You can put them up there right now.
Right.
You can put them over Ohio State. Ohio State looked like shit against Indiana.
Yeah, Oregon, not Oregon. Ohio State did not look fucking.
They looked
great.
like fucking shit.
Pump the brakes and putting them top 5. Hold on a second. They looked great.
No.
They looked great, but let me see a couple more. Yeah.
No. You can put them at number 2 right now. I don't give a fuck.
No. Let me see, because okay, I don't know about number 2. Hold on.
I do. I'm very confident.
Wow, we're
flipping it.
Wow, like I'm not okay.
I spoke from a place of anger last night when I was like, yeah, well, after they get clopped by Clemson and UNC. I spoke from a place of anger.
They don't play UNC at all.
They will. They will.
Yeah, they don't yet. The Clemson game in a few weeks is going to be
it's going to be
crazy.
I'm excited to see how Clemson looks tonight. We were recording this on Monday, by the way. Obviously, we had to wait until after the game, but
what? We couldn't do this.
We couldn't do it beforehand.
We couldn't accurately predict the game. What do you mean?
Shit. We're not good at our jobs.
Pump the brakes on FSU being top 4. I don't.
Yeah.
Because Michigan didn't look bad. Alabama, unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, didn't look bad.
Yeah, but they played Middle Tennessee State, bro. Like.
Yeah, they should have looked. They all should have looked good. Right? Georgia looked good.
Yeah, but Georgia played what? Mercer.
No.
Who played Mercer yesterday then?
UT Martin.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. Oh my lord, dude. No, honestly, I mean, I'm excited to see how Clemson looks tonight, though. But I would put Florida State in the top 4. Like, I'm not putting Ohio State above them. Michigan beat, somebody. Alabama beat somebody. Florida State beat the number 5 team in the fucking country, and they didn't just beat them. They beat them at 21. They blew them out.
Touche.
They didn't just beat them. They fucking killed them.
Who Ohio State barely beat?
They beat Indiana, dude. They beat them by 20. Like, their defense looked really good, but Indiana sucks. You should hang 40 on Indiana. Their offensive line didn't look good, and Kyle McCord didn't look good at all. That's another game I could talk about for a very long time, and I'm not going to because this is strictly an LSU Florida State video. I'm just going to reiterate, even with Jordan Travis's shaky first half, their receivers getting a case of the drops, Florida State just looked like they were overpowering LSU in the trenches. And I think that's what this game came down to. A lot of people are going to point to Jordan Travis and, the receivers and the big plays. This game came down to Florida State being better up front than LSU was. Like, Jared Versay was better. There was one guy from LSU who was making a lot of plays from the defensive line, but besides the point.
There is a world right now that Florida State is 12-0.
Oh,
there's a world.
There's a universe where that happens, much to my detriment. I'm all biased. I'm a Boston College fan, so I fucking hate Florida State. But I'm objective about it. So
Florida State's schedule is not the hardest. Like next week they play Southern Miss. That's a W. Then they play Boston College.
Store brand Kyler Murray's gonna get them.
Then they play Clemson, which that will be a great game. That's up in the air, but I think
the next hardest game is probably Miami, right?
Then the next hardest game they play is Miami. So
and that doesn't happen until that's a difference between September 23rd and November 11th. They play Va-Tech, Syracuse, Duke, Wake Forest, and Pittsburgh in that span.
Then North Alabama, that's a W, and then Florida,
they're like, we're gonna get a warm-up game before Florida. Well, then they'll have to play UNC, who made your boy Spencer Rattler look like an idiot last week. But
he didn't. Okay.
No, he looked fine. Fine. I'm just trolling you. I was like, hold on. But I mean, on that note, I've got nothing really left to say about this game except for Florida State the team made me a believer. I'm still not the biggest Jordan Travis guy. I'm pretty objective about, looking at things, I think, honestly. I think I'm pretty objective about it.
You do a
And
decent job.
I just don't like the inconsistency with Jordan Travis, man. Like he got it done when he needed to. Don't get me wrong. Like when he is on, he's probably top 4 quarterback in the country and a great NFL draft prospect. But man, some of those plays I saw last night, I was like, stop. Like genuinely, I want him to be good because I love when good quarterbacks are in college football. And parity, like it makes the game better. He should have had 3 interceptions at the end of the first half last night, and I was like, bro, you got to stop with this. He looked great in the second half.
But he didn't.
Again, the story of this game is Florida State overpowered like a top tier SEC defense in the trenches. They overpowered them. They made them look like little boys. Florida State, if you keep doing that, you're going to run through the ACC with no problem. Clemson's defense, barring what I see tonight, will probably give you a few more issues than LSU's defense is. Clemson's defense is still one of the best in the country. But I don't think Clemson's offense is as good, so we'll see what happens there. Florida State, there is a world where you run the table and you run into UNC in an ACC title game. I think that'll be your toughest matchup of the year. LSU obviously is the better football team, but I think conference championship games obviously, a little bit more hype going in. But Florida State looked fast. Their defense looked real good. I'm surprised they held LSU under 30, not because Florida State's defense isn't good, but because LSU's offense is really good. You know what? Knowles fucked them up. That's really all I gotta say about it.
Damn straight they did.
They fucked them up, and they fucked up my parlay. So.
Not mine.
You know what? Shout out to Butterfield for hitting the over on that San Jose State game with a garbage time touchdown. Shout out to Butterfield, bro.
Yeah, honestly, I turned on that game just to watch the final drive, and I was like, no way they actually scored.
Bro, no I love college football so much. But
just getting started. All right.
You got anything left to say about Florida State LSU here?
I don't. I'm all good.
Okay, put Florida State in the top 4. And on that note, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You want to know why you should hit the subscribe button? Because we cover all college sports. If you are interested in college baseball, lacrosse, hockey, women's basketball, men's basketball, or college football, we produce content on it, and we're going to be here when those seasons start. The college hockey season starts in early October, so we will be starting our coverage of college hockey very soon. College basketball starts late October, so we'll also have that on the plate. Make sure to go follow us on all of our socials. You can see our TikTok and our Twitter and or X on the screen. And on that note, we'll see you next time.